Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and a new paper crafting video where today I am playing with the February 2025 club kits from Spellbinders. We're making all things Easter, 4 cards, 4 tags, and 1 love note. And I'm starting out with the large die of the month. There's a lot of dies in the set. I had to have 2 magnet sheets for this one, and it makes a little bunny that dances. Its legs move, and it's got a ton of ways you can dress up the bunny, add a friend, add some eggs, make it look like it's painting the eggs. It's so cute. So here I have die cut out 3 bunnies, white, gray, and tan, and I wanted to show you all the little parts and pieces that you have to really make it more authentic. Some lining to the ears, a little tummy, you've got the cheeks, so cute. And then we've got parts to make the face. So these are those dies right here. There's 2 different kinds of eyes, and there's layers for the eyes and the nose. So we're going to put the larger circles behind the opening in the bunny, and that's going to give us a place to drop down and adhere the actual eyeball, which is a round piece with a hole cut out of the center, so you have that like pupil effect. Now this is the one with the eyelashes, but there's also one without, so that's really handy. There's also a large nose you can put behind the bunny. Now this looks weird if you put it on the front, so you'll know it's the wrong one. It just looks too big. But now you have a place you can drop in the nose that just fits right in there, and there's a special die for that. I love that Spellbinders really thinks of all those little details. So there's the eyes without the lashes. So there's my 3 bunnies. I'm going to make 3 bunny cards for you today because there's like 3, well, probably more than that, 3 ways to dress these guys up. You've got shorts and a t-shirt, a dress, and overalls. So I picked out some colors I thought would be fun for spring and Easter, and that's what I'm using. So the gray bunny's going to have the t-shirt and the shorts. You can see all the detail that presses into these shorts. You can see belt loops, a button, the zipper area. It's so cute, and even pockets. All right, now this bow right here, you can see on the die, there's 2 pieces. That's so we can look like it's tied around one of the eggs, but it's also super cute on the bunnies. So I put it on my bunny's ear, and then I added the little collar piece to the dress. I just thought that was precious. And then for my bunny with the overalls, you can totally make this bunny have just the overalls, no t-shirt, and then that section that covers its belly, like the little pink part that I had on its belly, will show there. But I thought it was cute with the t-shirt too, so that's the way I did mine. The arms are separate. You can glue those on once you add your clothing. I love this little thing. It's a chick, and then the legs, when you glue them behind the head of the chick, the top of the legs actually cover up that opening where the beak is, turning it orange. It's so clever. So smart. So I made 3 of those. I thought each one of my little bunnies was going to have a tiny chick friend on the card, but you'll see what happens. So here's card number 1. We're going to bring in the Glimmer Hot Foil club kit. This is a gorgeous leafy branch plate, and it has a die, so you can die cut around the top of it, which would be a really cool effect. I didn't actually end up doing that. I'm going to hot foil mine twice with this pink foil to create somewhat of a frame. There's also sentiments in there that I didn't end up using on my cards, but there's a lot of different things you could do with this because of all the things in this Glimmer Hot Foil set. So mine wiggled and jiggled, so I tried really hard on the second hot foiling to not let that happen, and it did again. I mean, you have to take that out and move it over to your die machine, and I don't know, it just did excess foiling. So if you wanted, you could tape this down so you don't get as much movement. I think that's what I would do in hindsight, but I didn't want to waste this paper, so I'm just going to use it, but I'm not going to lie, it bothers me a little bit. But I knew I was going to put a bunch of stuff on this card, so I could potentially cover up a lot of it, so I just decided to go with it. So I added a little pink, just what the ink that was left on my blending brush around the edge of that, and I'm going to set that aside and work on my bunny a little bit. I wanted to bring in my Copic markers and just add a little bit of shading to this. So I have some really soft colors to add extra pink to the ears and the cheeks, a little gray. I added some right under the nose. I did not like that. I did not do that on the rest of them. It kind of just makes it look like it has a dirty mouth instead of shadowing. So I'm going to leave that off from here on out. And then a little accenting to the clothing, and it just, I thought, really helped bring it to life. And I didn't do any blending, just actually adding in a little bit of a shadow. So I did add that on the legs and the arms as well. And then I brought in a white gel pen and added some white highlights to things. I love this on stamped images, on die cut images. It just brings a little shine mark and, you know, a little bit of life. It really adds that little extra something. All right, this is a solid hot foil plate from Spellbinders, and it's the only one I have from Spellbinders. So I decided I would do a solid hot foil circle and use that to die cut out my Easter eggs. And look how awesome this came out. It really helps to have smooth paper when you're hot foiling. And now I have this piece I can use to die cut out my eggs. So I'm going to have these like foiled or foil wrapped looking eggs. I thought I was only going to do one, and then I was like, there's plenty of room here. I could probably do all three. So I did all three of the eggs, and I love how these turned out. Like, these make me so happy. They're so pretty. So I decided I needed more. So I did some in a light blue color and a golden color. That's Aura, Speckled Aura, one of my favorite foils. So there you have it. I did it in all three colors. So now I have 9 eggs to work with, and I'm going to use these on all 3 of my bunny cards. Now I had an opening. I really wanted it to say Happy Easter, and I wanted to stack it up. So I pulled out this old clear stamp of the month. It was like from 2022, I believe. And I'm going to use those words Happy Easter, but I just encourage you to shop your stash. Sometimes you can look back through stuff you already have and find something that's going to work perfect for that specific card. If you've been making for a long time like I have, you're going to have a stash and you want to be able to use those old things with your new things. I love combining my old and new together and bringing new life to older things. So I'll do that a couple times in today's video, but I just like this because the words die cut out individually, so I could stack these just the way I was hoping to do so. So I embossed them with white powder on that same blue paper that I used for the bunny's bow by its ear, and there it is, super cute. So now we can put all the things together. This is going onto an A2 size card, which is 5.5 by 8.5 inches, scored at 4 1/4 down the middle and folded in half. I'm going to kind of cluster my eggs together how I want them, gluing them together separately because I want to pop this up. I want to put some foam on the back, pop this up on my card and give it some dimension. So I'm going to glue them together, add the foam squares, stick it down to the card, and because of that, my little chick needed a tiny foam square on the back as well. So we'll do that, and then I wanted my bunny to kind of like reach out and like be holding the chick, and that didn't work out. Really, the arms just kind of seemed to go one way or didn't seem right on this card, so I didn't do that. Here I'm putting a tiny like hexagon foam square, but when these run out, I'm going to have to get more, and Spellbinders has tiny square foam squares, and I'm going to get those next because they'll be perfect for these kind of movable little animals. And if you love this where the legs swing back and forth, they have several die sets that do this. Now I put my foam squares down too low and so I had to kind of do a little surgery and trim. I just trimmed the top of the legs down a little bit so it didn't run into the foam squares I put on the back of the bunny, and then they move back and forth. They kind of swing. It's really cute. All right, so then here comes my sentiment. I love that I can stack it and put it right there in that opening. I love all the shininess on this card, and I wanted to kind of repeat that with a little bit of an embellishment, but I didn't want to make it too busy. So when I brought out my rhinestones for this card, I decided I would give her a little bracelet. Now, here's my rhinestone collection in the tray I like to store them in. I love the tray. If you need something for your embellishment containers, I will link that tray for you below. If you want to store them in little containers, you can get the tray with the containers too and pour yours into those containers. So yeah, I'll link that for you below, but there's her cute little bracelet. I think this turned out so very cute. So there's my first bunny, the white bunny. Now we're going to move on to the gray bunny and make another Easter card. Okay, this probably is my favorite thing in the club kits for February, and it's this 3D embossing folder, and it embosses these little bows. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. So I'm going to do this on this light pink cardstock. Look how gorgeous those are. Oh my word. Love it. So I brought back my eggs. I already have my bunny ready. I've got an extra chick. I'm going to die cut some flowers to add to this card right here. And I wanted to actually make this a little bit more feminine of a bunny. I'm going to send these cards to my 2 nieces and nephew, and so I wanted to give her a girly vibe. So I'm going to die cut that bow. I had enough room on that hot foiled solid circle to do the bow with that shiny paper, so I did that. I added a little collar to her top, and then I'm going to cut off the scallops on the bottom of the dress and add those to the bottom of the shorts in a lighter blue. Now, the scallops on the rest of the dress were kind of large. They kind of get larger as they go over, so I actually die cut a portion of the dress again to use the same exact scallops on the other leg of the shorts. And I think that turned out so very cute. I am adding some more highlights here, or shadows really, with my Copic markers on all the things, and highlights with my white gel pen, and then I'm going to put all the flowers together. So in the die set, the large die of the month, you have the stem with leaves, the stem without leaves, and the flower in the center. So I'm going to use those. But I wanted a little grassy border to go across the bottom, so I pulled out one of my former die set of the month from Spellbinders and use this grassy border. You could really use any grassy border that you have, not necessarily this exact die set, but it's what I had. So I pulled it out to use it, and I really like it. There was also an extra flower in there I had already die cut, so I decided I might as well use that now. So I did. So you can see that larger pink flower there is also from that set, something I already had made. I love that when I can use something that I've saved like that. So I put the grass across the bottom. I did use glue and double-sided adhesive tape because I'm going over this very textured background. Now I'm going to arrange my eggs, glue them together just like I did on the previous card, because I thought I was probably going to pop this up again. However, I really like the eggs tucked into the grass, so I added a ton of glue to the back so it would stick down really well and tucked it behind the grass. And now for the bunny, we're going to add the little foam square right there on the legs. That's the only adhesive you need for the legs. You don't need to glue it down. It's going to be trapped, so to speak, between the background and the bunny, and that foam square is the thing that's holding it in place. Now, did I get it right? No, I didn't. I stuck it down very lightly and used glue on the back of my foam squares just in case I needed to pick it up real quick, and I did. I was able to rearrange my foam squares. Now, one thing I don't like about this is the legs, when they swing, they show outside of the shorts. And there's not really enough room to put like extra foam next to the shorts. I don't know if you could do a tiny strip of paper, but then they wouldn't swing. So I don't know. If you have thoughts about that, the movement of the legs with the shorts, let me know. I mean, it kind of looks weird when they swing, right? Give me your thoughts on that. So also you could use these bunnies without the legs. I saw on the Spellbinders website, somebody had put the bunny in like a frame, like a rectangle, so you could just see like the top half of the bunny. I thought that was another clever way to use this set. I've added my flowers now, and I'm just putting a little bit of a shadow there on the centers of the flower, and I did do a little white highlight with my gel pen on those as well. All right, for the sentiments, there's 2 sentiments in the large die of the month: Happy Easter and warm spring wishes. I'm going to use it on another card. I don't remember, but the banner and the word are separate, so you can also die cut out a solid banner, which I used for a shadow layer on mine, and I love that. And I love how it's kind of curved and the letters just cut into the paper. It's so cool. So I added a bracelet to this bunny as well to finish off the card, and I'm not kidding, that background, I love it. It's so cute. Okay, we're going to move on to the bunny with the overalls. And he's going to have a different friend going along with him, and that's this large chick. Now, if you get all of the club kits, you can order it in the deluxe caboodle. You get a huge discount if you get all the club kits, and it comes with a free gift, and that's the only way to get it. And this month it is this cute, adorable chick, and it's like a larger, more detailed version of the tiny one that's in the large die of the month. So it's really fun, and I'm going to add this to my card with my last bunny. I will show you there how to put all the pieces on it. Super easy to do, and the kind of belly part and the beak part cut out at the same time. So I just used a darker yellow for the belly, but I wanted the beak to be a little bit more orange, so I went ahead and colored that with my Copic markers, added some more shadowing and white gel pen highlights, and there's the two friends. I thought about using the smaller chick too, but it just didn't seem to go. All right, this is the regular embossing folder of the month for February 2025. It's kind of a basket weave look, and so I'm going to use that for this background on this light blue paper. And then I wanted to bring out the carrot for this set from this set and add a few of those. So I made 3 of them, and the topper, like the greenery part of the carrot, has the perfect little spot to add your glue and stick down your carrot. Super easy to do. It's on the same die as the flower stems. All right, for one of the carrots, I thought I'd cut it off and make it look like he has a carrot tucked in his little pocket. I love that. It's so cute. So I've kind of arranged things how I want it to go, and I decided I needed to do a little bit more to the background. So I'm just using the ink already on my blue blending brush to dust up the edge. It kind of helps draw your eye into the center when that's just a little bit darker. And then I did need a row of grass on this one as well, so I brought back that same die. I did look, this die set that the grass is from, I could not find it on the Spellbinders website, so it definitely is sold out. A lot of times the club kits, when they have excess, they'll put them on the website for sale versus having to subscribe to get your club kits. And so I looked for it, but it wasn't there. So if you're interested in the club kits, I will have a link to all of them, like one link. You click on it, it'll take you to all the club kits that Spellbinders has to offer, and you can check all of them out. There's 3 others that are available that I don't have. The Better Press of the month, it's on its way to me. And then there's also a small die of the month and a stitching die of the month. So check those out. And if you love them all, the Deluxe Caboodle is a great value, a great savings, and it's a good way to get all the club kits and a little free gift too. All right, this that says Hello Peeps is also from that die set where I got the grass from. I just decided to use that for my sentiment. I thought it was really fun, and I did a little bit of rip and stick sheet or double-sided adhesive sheet on the back to turn these into stickers and then stick them down for my sentiment. Now, I ran across this when I was looking for the die with the grass, the Smart Glasses die set. I thought this was super cute. It fits on the bunny perfectly. Isn't that so adorable? Okay, now there was something about this card that was totally bothering me, and that was that the carrot was thicker than the pocket. So I just die cut out another pocket, cut it out, and added some shadowing around the edge. I'm going to stick it down with a glue dot so it's raised up just a tiny bit, and then my carrot and the pocket are like the same level. They're more flush with each other. That made me more happy. Like, love is in the details, and that was one of them I just had to do. I added some white gel pen highlights to my carrots, and then this is going right onto my card base, another A2 size card base, but this one opens in the horizontal way. So there he is. His legs do move. I did get my foam squares right by the 3rd time. So learn from me and keep your foam squares on the back of your bunny up high. So there's card number 3. Now we're going to do card number 4. I had to use that little chick again. He's so very cute. So I wanted to give this chick some glasses too, and there's glasses in that set that are like flowers. I loved it. I didn't have the perfect shade of pink that I wanted, so I just used my marker to color over the top. However, once I stuck them down, the little cheeks that I already put the little shadow on do not look right. So I actually did a little card surgery and just ripped those little cheeks right off and die cut them again, but this time did not add any shadowing to them. So I've got light pink cheeks and the darker pink glasses because the color I used for the glasses was the same color I'd used for the shadow on the cheeks. Now for the background on this card, we're bringing in the stencil of the month. Check it out. 5 stencils. They layer together. They are numbered. There are 2 for the leaves, 2 for the flowers, and 1 for detailing. These also have registration marks in all 4 corners, so if you cut your paper to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, it'll fit on there perfectly. So I'm starting out with Frayed Leaf ink from Altenew and my blending buddy brush and adding my first layer. So this is the first layer of the greenery. You'll see it looks weird, right? That's because it leaves openings for your next layer. If you use the registration marks, you can line this up very easily. I had no trouble at all. And now I'm using Forest Glades ink, a little bit darker shade of green, to do that second layer. And then when that's done, we're moving on now to the florals. So I'm going to start with my lighter pink, this time Frosty Pink, and blend those right onto my card, and you can see how the flowers are fitting perfectly into those openings left by the previous stencil. It's so cool. All right, so once that's done and we reveal that, you can see there's still more openings. That's our second layer of flowers. So I'm bringing in a darker pink this time, Coral Berry, and I love when I do stenciling that you can really have areas that are darker and lighter I'm just doing a circular motion, so the edges closest to the stencil are a little bit darker than the center, and it really gives it a cool effect. All right, the last one is the detail. So it's going to add detail to your flowers and your grass. I'm using some almond butter, a really light brown color for that. This would be a good layer to also use some paste if you wanted to add some texture. But these are really small openings, so I used a finger style blending brush for this one so I could really get into those small places easily. There it is. Isn't it gorgeous? It's such a cool stencil. All right, I'm taking my blending brush with just the ink that's on it and giving a little bit of dusting across the bottom for a little grounding effect. And then I die cut out a banner that I had from my stash so I could stamp sending what? Yeah, smiles. Something smiles. I'm stamping that with some milk chocolate ink on there. Spring Smiles. We're sending spring smiles. That's what we're doing. This is going to go in the upper right corner. I forgot to trim down my cardstock, so I am going to have to cut down the top of it, but it's going to go on a white card base and it'll fit on there. You'll see what I mean in a minute. But I thought my chick needed to be interactive since my bunnies were interactive, so I used an action wobbler to stick him down to the card, and then he can wobble and shake, and it's really cute. Okay, the one thing about him like sticking up like that on the action wobbler is that I was worried his frail little feet would get bent up really easily. So I die cut a second piece and stuck it behind it to kind of give it more strength, and they might not get bent up as easily. All right, I'm adding this to the card. You can see I had to trim it down because I like a white border, even with white paper. I like that look, and it was just right at the top of my sentiment, but it still worked out because I had the white border of the card base, which is another A2 size card. So that finishes up my 4 cards. And now we're going to move on to making some tags that I thought would be really fun to go on a present. So this is the clear stamp of the month for this month, and I'm going to use these little I don't know, they're like little flowers. They're really cute. I am going to emboss them, and I'm going to end up die cutting them out with this Make-A-Wish arch die set to make my tags. I love these arches because they have pressed detail into them. It kind of cuts lines all the way around the edge. They have several different sizes in the set. There's the smallest one actually has a hole in it, and the largest and the smallest have scallops on them. It's a really cool die set. So I'm going to stamp this 4 times. I'm embossing it with white powder, and I'm going to stamp some where these little florals are going to be on the left side of the tag and some where the florals are going to be on the right side of the tag. And that's so it fits with the critter that I'm going to put on them. So I'll do that, and I'm just doing all of my stamping, all of my embossing first, and then I can go back and die cut them out. So you'll see me bring that die in, make sure I have it where it's going to fit, and it's going to be on the appropriate side of the die. So there they are, all ready to go. But while I have all my embossing stuff out, I'm going to go ahead and do this flower cluster also from the clear stamp of the month. I'm going to stamp this 4 times. So I have 1 of these for each tag. This time I'm also doing my embossing in white on white paper because I want to do a resist technique with this. I just love the effect. So you can see I'm just scooting up my paper and stamping my stamp without moving it, except this last time I had to move it down a tiny bit. So I am stamping this 2 times and trying to work quickly so my ink doesn't dry before I get my white powder on it. And here you can see what they look like a lot better. And then we'll melt the powder with that, and they're ready to go. So next step, before die cutting, I'm going to do a little ink blending. I wanted kind of an ombre effect. So starting with pink paper makes it really easy. I only have to add a little bit of that pink ink at the bottom, and then I have this really easy ombre look. Isn't that pretty? Soft and delicate. I'm going to use the same ink, which is Coral Berry, the same ink I used on my stencil card. I love this color. And I'm going to just go right over the top. You can see the embossing resists the ink, and then all around it is colored, but it's not perfect like if I had stamped it on pink paper. You've got variation in the color, lighter spots, darker spots, and I love that. All right, so here you can see that detail that this die cuts out, those lines. So awesome. Okay, so I'll do the rest of those and then die cut out these flowers with the coordinating die set. Now the clear stamp of the month you can get with or without the coordinating die. Of course, if you're getting the deluxe caboodle, you'll get the die set too. All right, so here's the 4 critters from the set. There are 2 chicks and 2 bunnies. They have a very vintage vibe to them. So I'm kind of giving my cards a little bit of a vintage feel, a soft look to them, and there they are, super cute. I'm going to color these up with my Copic markers very simply. There's very small areas on this, which make it a little bit harder to do a lot of ink blending. When I have smaller images like this, I tend to keep my ink blending to a minimum and use 2 colors. So that's what I'm doing here. I think he is really cute, just kind of, you know, gazing up at the sunshine, enjoying the sun because spring's finally here, right? I'm saying this as we just got 6 inches of snow here in Eagle, Idaho last night. It's a snow day, no school. So yeah, it's you know, kind of nice to make cards and think about the coming spring days and sunshine. All right, so there he is, super cute. And I'm going to add some, of course, white gel pen highlights to all the things. Plus, this bow that he's wearing is polka dotted. So I can use my white gel pen to color in those polka dots and give it a little bit more interest. For the bunny, I'm going with brown for both my bunnies for kind of a, you know, velveteen rabbit feel. This one I colored a little bit darker, and my second bunny I ended up coloring a little bit lighter, using the same colors, just a little less of my darker color, and it worked out pretty good. So I used E55 and E53 for the bunnies, and I think the brown is so cute. But again, you know, do white. That would be really easy. Just adding a little bit of a light gray shadow and make a white bunny. Super cute. All right, I'm sorry that you can't see my stamping here very well. I'm using milk chocolate ink and stamping Springtime Magic Enclosed because I really feel like these will be tags either to go on an Easter basket itself or maybe even an Easter treat that you might share with somebody. So I'm going to cut those out at the top with that same grassy dye, and that's going to go at the bottom of my tag. It is going to cover up that fun detail on the bottom of the tag, but I've got it across the top, and this really adds a lot to it, especially with a little ink blending at the bottom for more of that ombre feel like I have going on very softly in the background of my tag. So there's the tag. Now we're ready to die cut out my bunnies. My critters actually. I did use a black glaze pen to add to their eyes to make them pop more. So I had to let those dry because I got too excited and added them before I die cut them. Normally I would add that kind of thing very last, so as time to dry. All right, I'm using a little rectangle punching a hole for my ribbon. I thought this brown gingham ribbon was really super cute for these. So I'm going to just tie a loose knot there because they still need to be added to their, you know, gift. And then I can untie them later and do that. And then for these flowers, I'm going to pop them up and they're going to cover up that opening for the ribbon. And there they are. Done, ready to go. I love making tiny things. It's so fun. They're just really cute. Tags are so fun to make. And speaking of tiny things, after this, we're going to make a love note. This is our last project, but I had to share with you the wax seal. of the month. So we're going to get to that. I am spritzing some, I think this is like mixed media paper. I don't know. I had a scrap of it. I decided to emboss it with that 3D embossing folder because I couldn't get enough of it. And then I'm going to spritz this with some fossilized amber spritz from Ranger Tim Holtz, and this is kind of a golden yellow color, and it's got that metallic of the mica in it, so it's just really cool. I love how the paper was slightly damp, so the spray kind of gathered around the embossing. It looks so cool. All right, I used the large die of the month, die cut out some flowers, stems, and hello spring. That's the other sentiment from the large die of the month. And I'm adding a little ink blending to the center of my flowers, which I die cut out from that super light pink cardstock. And then I'm adding kind of an ombre effect with this tiny blending brush to my sentiment. So those are the things that are going to go on my card. Let's get the centers in the flowers, which are some gold paper. I thought it went really well with that fossilized amber on the back of my background there. And then add those to the stems, and then we're going to wax seal. So this is the wax seal of the month. The wax seal itself is called Lush Leaf. It's this oval shape, and it is large. So I am going to melt my wax beads, and for this one I'm going to use 5 wax beads. Now when you get the wax seal of the month as a club kit, you are going to get a bag of wax. Colors may vary. You might not get the same exact color that I do. That melted, and then I'm pouring it out onto a little marble coaster. This helps it set up a little bit faster because it stays cool, and I love that. I saw another person that I follow on Instagram do this, and so I went downstairs and got my coaster, brought it upstairs. Now we're short one, but I use it more in the craft room than I use it for actual coaster. So yeah, all right, to dress this up, I brought in this Deco pen. It's a gold paint pen that stays, it dries on the wax and stays there. So you can add some detail to it. You want to just be slow, take your time, use the side of the pen, and it adds a beautiful look to your wax seals. That's also at Spellbinders. So now I'm going to arrange this onto my cardstock, which by the way, this square is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. It's going to go onto a love note, which is 3 inches by 3 inches. So I'm clustering up my flowers, and I was inspired to make this love note from a card that I saw on the Spellbinders website for, I think it's for the wax seal. Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's a really good way to use the wax seal with the flowers. And then I, put my own twist on things. So if you need more ideas with your club kits, always check out the Spellbinders website after the club kits are available, and then you can get inspiration there. They have really cute things every month made with these. And I hope watching this video is going to give you some even more ideas on how you can use them. All right, so I'm adding this to that 3x3 card. So it was 3 by 6. Scored at 3 inches, and now we have this tiny little love note you can put with a little gift that you're giving somebody, and just say thanks or love you, thinking of you, get well, something really simple, really easy. So there's all of my projects today: 4 cards, 4 tags, and a love note. I hope that you've enjoyed this and you are inspired. Maybe you get the club kits already, and now you've got some ideas and ways that you can use your things. And yeah, if you don't get them, you might want to check them out. I've got them linked for you below. If you have any questions about the club kits, let me know. I'll try to help you out. But they have so much information right there on the Spellbinders website, and they are now available. If you want to subscribe, you can do that. So check them out, and thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you so much. I'll see you again soon with a new paper crafting video. Happy stamping. Bye.